had to. It wouldn't let me post it on Canvas, but whatever. That's my back door. All right, can you guys see my screen?
I just wanted to say at the very least, you got another subscriber.
Oh, great. Well, now you can go back and watch random videos from random classes for the last decade. So,
I probably will.
well, knock yourself out. All right. Um, so today we're going to work on drawing our interior section. So real quick, I made a mistake earlier because I didn't change my, let's do this. Let's grab all of this and this guy here. I made a mistake because I didn't change my layer when I put this stuff in. So I'm going to put it all on furnishing. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn my dimensions off because I don't want to see them. And I'll just do this in pink for interior walls. That's fine. And I'm going to turn off my dimensions. Okay. So this is a very similar process to what we did before when we built these story poles and these exterior sections views, right? The exterior elevations. Except this time we're just building it from the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Again, you'll see me just draw lines. I'm just drawing this. I guess I can do this real quick, make it right. I'll come over and I'll be a good boy and put it on a construction line. I'm going to just draw this up like 2 feet and I'll just draw that over. I don't know. I don't really care how far it's 3 feet. All right. So now that I've got that, I want to draw another line off of this corner. And I don't care where it goes because it's just a construction line for me. So I'm going to go back to the interior walls. And I'm going to draw a line from this corner over to this line. I'm going to go straight up. And I'm going to go up 10 feet. Now, if you've got a section in the way or something, we can turn those off. We could move it, right? I'm just going to leave it for now. I don't really care. I'm going to go up 10 feet. I'm going to go back over. And again, maybe it might not let you. So I'm going to go back over and draw a line from this corner up 10 feet. And then connect this together. So now I've got my wall, right? And that's going to be the exterior or the interior wall that we're going to be looking at. So first things first, let's go ahead and do things that we've done before. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little story pole here. Okay, I'm going to draw this up. I'm going to draw this up at, I'll move this back to construction. I'm going to draw this up. Let's go 4 feet. I'm going to draw one more up at, let's go 7 feet. And I guess I'll extend this line a little bit farther and draw one more at 8 feet. Okay, so similar to what we've done, I don't really care to label them right now because we've got a lot to do. So I'm going to go now and change this from my construction to my doors. Okay. And instead of just doing it like we did last time where we draw all of our lines, we're going to kind of do one at a time and then trim things back today. So I'm going to draw a line off my door, come in here, all the way up. Same thing off the other side. All the way up. And then one more from my 7 foot, right? So this is 4 feet, this one's 7 feet, this one's 8 feet. So one more from my, whoa, what just happened there? One more across like that. And once I've got it, I'm gonna go ahead and trim this up now and get rid of the excess lines I don't need. So the line down here, I don't need that construction line anymore. Don't need that guy. Don't need this, 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 that, or that. And I actually will just move this out of the way, and I'm just going to move it up 3 feet. So now I've got a little door drawn, and if I want to get fancy, I'm going to come here, use this midpoint, and draw a little circle. Okay, I'm using the midpoint on the left side because that's how the door is going to open. I'm going to draw a little tiny circle here. Maybe I'll make the radius of it like, we'll do the radius of it like 1.25 inches. And then I'm going to move this over. I'll move it over 2.5 inches. And now I've got a little doorknob, right, for my door. All right, so we've done one thing that we know how to do. What's the next thing we know how to do?
Windows.
Windows. Okay, perfect. I'm going to move over to my Windows layer and do the same thing, right? So draw a line off of here. Oh, make sure it's straight. Delete, please. Now this one, I've got a couple locations. I don't want to draw a bunch of those lines. So I'm going to use my copy command and copy with this base point of the end point of this line. And now I can paste it to the end point on each side of each window. And then I'm going to draw my window sill height and my window header height, and go ahead and trim out any excess. And now we've got our door and our 2 windows. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes or so, and give me a thumbs up when you've got the doors and the windows drawn. If you want to get fun and crazy, I mean, that's not crazy, but if you want to come in here, put in maybe some panes in here, right? Make it look more like a window. We can do that. There. All right, so give me a thumbs up when you're there, and we'll move on to the next part. There's 3. Now your wall is going to be different than mine, right? It's going to be whatever you're working on. So, and if you want different heights of your windows for the sill height and the header height, by all means, you can change whatever you like to. I'm just getting an interior section drawn of what I have in front of me, right? All right. So I'm going to move forward with the next portion of this, and that's going to be this countertop. So I'm going to go back and change this now back to furnishings. And I'm going to draw a line over here. I'm going to draw a line here up at 30 inches. Okay, so 30 inches is a typical countertop height. And I'm just giving us a height right here in our story pole for it. So there's that. I'm going to draw a line for me off of this countertop. And off of here. And I'm going to trim the excess pieces. So something like that. Well, countertops usually have a little depth to them. So I'm actually going to copy this. And I'm going to just go ahead and copy this down by an inch. Just to give kind of the appearance of a countertop here. All right. And once we have that, I'm actually going to draw a line. And I don't care, maybe I'll just I can start it right here off my story pole off there. So I'll just draw a little cross line so I've got the height there. And I'm just going to draw a line a ½ inch tall here. And you'll see why in just a second. So now that I've made that little line here, it's now going to give me some depth or some thickness for my sink. So I'm going to draw this line up like this. A line up from the other side of the sink. And a line across from my ½ inch raised portion. Once that's drawn over, I can trim up any of the excess. And now we can see a little lip there for where that sink is going to be. All right. Last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and give this some faucets and some knobs. So I don't really care to have this turned like this. I'm just going to make mine straight. But I am going to draw a line off of here. Off of the other side of this guy. Right? Those are going to be your knobs for your hot and your cold. And then I'll draw one more off of here. And since I don't know exactly where that goes to, I'm actually going to take this line and I'm going to mirror it about that line. And now I have a little bit for a faucet. So maybe another little guy off of this story pole. We'll go ahead and give this some 2 inches of height. Bring it over. And I am going to trim off anything that I don't want. So right now I just want these faucets. Or sorry, these knobs, right? Okay. And then last but not least, maybe that's pretty large. I don't really care. It's not the end of the world if it's that big. I'm going to make this line, make a line here at, let's go 6 inches tall. And we'll put a little faucet thing here. So I'll extend this guy up to here. Trim out anything I don't want. And then last but not least, maybe I'll add something here. Let's go a 1/2 inch down. And then maybe I'll get fancy and give it a little bit of a 1/4 inch little nozzle to come off it. Move this guy over. Let's go 3/8 of an inch. And then copy this guy 3/4. And then draw a little line. And now it looks like I've got a side profile of a sink. So we're not gonna, if you don't want to get that in depth, not a big deal. I'm just showing you what we can go the level that of detail we can go to. All right, so let's go ahead and put some cabinets in this as well. So I'm now going to draw a line from the edge of this cabinet. Now, technically, I'm going to have some upper and some lower cabinets here. So I'm going to draw this all the way to the top. Same thing off of here, all the way to the top. And same thing off of this side right here. Perfect. And so we're going to use these as our upper cabinets. I'll actually copy this over just because I want to make sure that there's a white line on top of that because there will be a cabinet here. So let's go ahead and look at our cabinet elevations and let's keep them the same as our windows. I kind of like that elevation. So let's just draw a line across here. Again, you could go all the way across. Same thing for this one down here. And now that I've got those locations, I can, just like we've done before, trim up any excess. Okay. And now I've got some upper cabinets. Looks like there's another little white line here to delete and one right here. So I've got some upper cabinet kind of, outsides of it, right? But I want to make this look like a cabinet. So let's go ahead and split this in half on the midline. And then if you want to, I would go ahead and let's see here. Let's just keep them simple. We'll keep it simple just like the door is for now. If you want to get super fancy, you can totally get super fancy. I'm going to copy that from center to center. And then just like we did with this door, let's put some little door knobs on here or cabinet knobs. So I'm going to draw a little circle. This one, I want just the diameter of it to be, the diameter to be 1 inch. So I'm going to make the circle a half, sorry. I want the diameter to be 1 inch. So I'm going to make the radius a ½ inch. I'm going to move it roughly 3/4 of an inch. And now I can copy this guy to 1 inch and 3/4 plus 3/4 is, well, let's just go here. Tell you what, let's do something better. Let's just mirror it. So I'm going to mirror it about this midpoint. No. And then now that I've got two drawn, I can copy them from this cabinet over to that cabinet. Maybe those upper cabinets, are those door pulls going to be that high? Probably not. So let's go ahead and select them. And I'm going to move them down roughly 22 inches. And there we go. Now we got, and are those are a little close? Maybe, right? You could play with the spacing on it, right? But you get what we're going for. So now we've got two upper cabinets. We've got our lower cabinet and our sink in here. We've got a few excess lines. So I'm going to get rid of those. And now I'm going to draw some cabinets down here. So same thing. I'm probably just going to use these same locations. And then trim out anything that you don't need. And now we could go ahead and make some cabinets here. So now one thing, if I went ahead and drew a line from, so how do I find the center point of this cabinet without measuring? So if I wanted to make a door or make an opening or a line right in the middle, how might I do that? So a really cool trick is to draw diagonal lines. Okay. If you draw a diagonal line, and I'll just do 3 of them real quick. And all 3 of these cabinets are different sizes. Okay, but that's okay. The center of this diagonal line will always be the center of that opening. So if I draw a line off the top of that, straight up, and then I take that same line and then just bring it all the way down perpendicular, I now have the perfect center of my cabinet, no matter how wide, without me doing any measuring. So same thing. And then last but not least, I got one more cabinet to do here. Extend this down. And now I can, all of these diagonal lines, I can wipe. And I can use this. And this is kind of weird because I don't have a line to pull from. So I'm actually going to just draw a quick little line between the two of them. So it has a center point. Let's copy. And if I actually just select the circles and leave that other part alone, I now have a location to copy from. And I'm going to copy to the midpoint of all of these cabinet doors. And I can get rid of my little detail line. So now we've got 5 cabinets, 2 windows, a door, and a sink. What else do you see in my drawing?
A stove
A
and
stove.
another and a refrigerator. Is that a
Stove
refrigerator?
and a refrigerator, right? Well, both of those are items that we probably actually already have a profile view for. So let's go over here. And I'm going to go find the stove that I used. So here's my stoves. And I think I used that one. Let's just go check real quick. Yes, that is the one I used. Okay, and nearby, you will find lovely views. Okay, so this is just a stove. Okay, they're now, maybe we want to actually make this a stove with an oven front. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at doing that. So just again, just because what you have in front of you may or may not have what you need, doesn't mean we can't use it, draw it, modify it. So let's go ahead and click on this guy. I'm going to copy him. And I'm going to use this bottom left-hand corner. And I'm going to paste it right here to this corner, right? So then that way that stove is in perfect alignment. Now, it looks like that stove doesn't necessarily match perfectly. It looks like it's off just a little bit. Let's see if there's a wider one at all. And again, we may or may not have, everything that you want, but we'll just try this one. And if it's not perfect, I'm not gonna, knock you points, right? It's effort that matters. Okay, that one's a little better, and I'll just go ahead and put it roughly right here. And if I really wanted to, I could explode this and make it right. So now that it's there, okay, well, maybe that's a place that, I want it. However, there's no reference point for up here. So I'm going to draw a little detail line. Little one right there, right? And now I can move this to that corner. And I'm just going to call this good enough. Again, if you wanted to get really, on the money on it and, get this perfect and explode this family, right? So I could explode this. I could move this line over. I could, take this, copy hue from here, figure out where this new endpoint's going to be. Move this over. And then I could use my trim/extend. So instead of trimming, I'll extend it and then just click all these lines. And then if I really cared to get the burners lined up in the right spots, I could go ahead and do that too, right? I could grab a point off of the middle of this burner. Grab a point off of the middle of this burner. And then I could take all these elements, move them from the center of the burner over, and same thing this way, right? So even if you don't have something that perfectly matches, you can modify what you've got to make it match your space. And I'll go ahead and do that. Delete these lines. Delete this guy. Now I've got a stove that's the right width. It's in the right location right now. And I can quickly draw a couple lines off it. And then maybe I'll do something like this. Again, I'm not making it perfect, but if you wanted to make it perfect, you could always grab this, move it to like from center point of this to the center point of that, grab it again, move it down, straight down to there, and then maybe I'll copy this guy up like 2 inches, copy it up again an inch. And then now we've got a way to open our oven. And to view into our oven. And if you wanted to put in some extra knobs here to control it, I don't care. All right, but we got an oven now. Perfect. Okay. Looks great. Maybe that opening's a little larger than I want it to be. So you can make it smaller, whatever. Not a big deal for me right now. So last but not least, let's go look at fridges. So if I come up here and I find my fridge section. So I've got this one, this is what I'm using. I don't have one that matches that perfectly, okay? So let's go ahead. Is there anything that's a side-by-side? There's not. We can go ahead and let's see if I can grab. So you know what? I don't like any of these fridges. I'm just gonna go draw my own. Okay, so sometimes maybe you've got something you want. Sometimes, maybe you don't. And that's fine. So let's go ahead.
We didn't need those fridges anyway.
What?
We didn't need those fridges anyway.
That's right. So I'm going to draw a line up to here. Same thing, the same way we did it before, right? Draw a line up to there like that. Let's go ahead and say this fridge goes to the same height as the door at 7 feet. So now I've got a top for the fridge. I could draw, let's trim this up. Okay, now I got my outside of my fridge. Let's go ahead and draw a line for where that door opening is going to be. Okay, so there's my door opening. Trim that. We trim this guy. Let's trim these as well. I don't need them anymore. And then, so it's starting to look like a fridge. Let's go ahead and put in a line across the bottom. And then I'm actually, just because I want to use I'll just copy whatever. I'm going to copy this up 1/2 inch. And then let's go another 1/2 inch. So I'll type in 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inches. So now I put some ventilation at the bottom of the fridge. And I'll take this middle line, bring it up to here. And now I need to put in something that looks like a door handle. So I'll go ahead and just draw this line out roughly 1 inch from here. I'll go up by 1 foot, over by 1 inch, down by 2 feet, over by 1 inch. Delete this. Extend that down. And now I'll just go ahead and mirror this about here. No. And now I got a way to open my fridge. And you can see that that actually looks like a fridge, right? I got some ventilation at the bottom there. I've got 2 doors to open. So, pretty cool. And now I can go to A3. So now that I've got my section built, I can get rid of any of the extra crap that I don't want anymore. So maybe I'll go from this way. And then maybe I'll take this section here, move it now that it's completed. Move it somewhere down here. And then I could call this let's go back to here. I could go ahead, go to like my A3, and here's my interior section. Something like that. And then I would want to put on here some text. That says interior section, and I'll just call it detail 1. Interior section. Oh, why did that asterisk get in there? Okay, maybe make this a little larger. I'll put this, whatever, make it 6 inch. And then the last thing that we need to do, and this is not just for our interior view, but our exteriors as well, right? We need a label underneath here that says detail 1. We also need this section right here to call out detail 1 on A3. So when I go to A3, I can see the detail that I'm looking for, right? So it references. So if I go to my A1 sheet, I see this. Oh, if I see this, if I zoom in or whatever, I see the, okay, detail 1, A3. This one's going to be detail 2 on A2, right? And now I could go to that sheet and find the details, right? We talked about last week labeling like this north view, detail 1, north view, detail 2, east view, right? So just give me some type of a reference so I can go between the two of them. All right, and that kind of concludes our time. Let me go ahead just real quick, turn back on my dimensions. Okay, and I don't really care if you, oh, hey, look, I almost put the section where I put my placeholder section. So, but yeah, now you've got something that you can work with and you can see the interior of your building. Questions, comments, concerns? I will get this video posting as soon as I can. Hopefully it'll post just to Canvas tonight. Real quick, let me just save this like I was saving my final project. So when you save your final project, whatever your file is, do a file save as, and I'm just going to name it Graham. Again, don't name it Graham Thompson. Use your own name. Graham Thompson. Construction 241 final project. Okay, that's what I want your file name to read. Something like your name, construction 241 final project. That way, when I go and I download these final projects, let's see if I've got perfect. You can see here's in March when I downloaded people, right? So this is the final projects I downloaded for 246. So look, so here's Joshua Showers. Here's his final project, right? You can see his name right in there. I don't want this where I just got final project 1, final project 2, right? I don't townhome, right? Final project, right? That doesn't mean anything to me. So please put your name in the title for your final project. And then all I want you to do is submit this DWG. I don't care to have everything plotted or PDF'd on individual sheets. Okay. I just care about having the full file so I can click through the model, click through your sheets, take a look at it, and grade it pretty quickly. All right. That's all I got. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Hey Graham, I do have
Uh,
a question.
Yes.
All right. So how would you suggest doing the elevations? Like I have like appliances running like on those south wall where you have everything on your north wall, so you know that makes sense. But like if I have my fridge and like my stove that are they're pulled down and they're running on I have two south walls on the kitchen. Um I'm not too sure how I would go about that because it would like obstruct the countertops.
Well, can
Like
you just run?
there would be like lines like it'd be crisscross. Like here, maybe I'll just share if you
Yeah,
can
go
kind
ahead
of
and share
see
it
what
now.
I'm saying. So like if I have my fridge and so I found a side profile for an oven, which you know that makes sense, but like my fridge, right, you know, it'd be like up here technically, right?
Right. Well, I mean, and to be honest, I would just take the section. I just where take the section cut in front of that fridge.
Okay,
Just move that
got
fridge a little bit farther to the south and take your section cut right through the stove looking north.
okay, okay,
And then you don't have to. But yes, you're right. If you took it behind it, you would need to show that fridge.
right. Yeah, if I had it down
You would
here,
block out the cabinet work, right? The case work right there.
right? Okay, sweet. I can do that. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Anyone else?
yeah, I have 2027, and I think you said that
It doesn't matter.
you wouldn't be able to open it. Okay.
No, I'm only not able to open it if it's Revit. AutoCAD is fine.
Okay. Gotcha. Perfect. Okay.
AutoCAD, it's still a DWG. It doesn't have to upconvert it. Revit will not let you open a newer file in an older version. So I would be screwed there, but I would just get the right version to make sure I can open it. No problem.
Okay. All right. And then I guess one more thing for the elevation views. Are you wanting all of the wall faces to be filled in with the hatching?
I don't care. If you want
Okay.
to go to
I was
that
just thinking.
level, great. So like here, maybe I would do this to make this a little bit nicer real quick. I would just do this. So I'd go to interior walls, just so you know what's kind of going on. And I'd go to hatch and
You're not
then,
sharing.
oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me share again. And maybe I would just put it with, so I don't like the scale of that. It's supposed to be plaster. Let's change the scale to like 20. There. That looks a little better. So now you can see that it's a wall, just not an empty space, right?
Okay.
All right, if you want to put something in there. If you don't want to put something in there, I don't care. But if you want
Okay.
to put something there and, you know, make it make sense, right? I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't put those stars in there. Um, I'd probably put something that more represented, you know, just it's hard
Whatever
because
the wall material would
don't
be.
have the right gypsum one.
Hmm.
They don't in the default. They've got a concrete one, but that's not what we want. You've got brick, but a lot of times your interior isn't going to be brick. It's going to maybe have a brick exterior, but you have drywall on the inside, or maybe you will have brick. I mean, just depends on how it is. You could just do the dots. That would be fine. The dashes, whatever you want. I'm not too picky. I mean, I'm not going to knock you down if you give me stars, but
Yeah, other than that, yeah, I think I'm good.
I mean, or you could just make it solid too, right? That's an option. It kind of is kind of an obnoxious being solid. I kind of like it just with, you know, something like that, right? Something
That,
that
yeah.
gives it some background, but you can see now you can really easily see that faucet against it.
Mm-hmm.
right? Where that kind of bled before, when it was solid, it was just too hard to see. So I don't know. And then if you wanted to hatch your door, you could. If you wanted to hatch your window, I don't care. Whatever you want to do. But that's totally up to you. Cool.
Cool. Thank you,
Anything
thank you.
else? Is everyone going to be able to turn in a final project? I sure hope so. Okay. Well, I will save this and get it posting as soon as I can. And if you've got any questions, please reach out via Canvas.
Thanks, Graham.
And then
Thank
I
you,
will
thank
be
you. Have a good one.
around. I will be around next week. It literally is just gonna be like it was earlier today, except instead of it just being a one-on-one, if you want to share something, you can share it with everybody that's there. So I'll just open it up as a office hours. You can share your screen and whatever you want to do. I'm there to help, but there's not going to be new instruction that that you're going to need to follow or you're going to miss out on if you don't come to class. So if you don't want to come, you get I'll give you credit for being there. Just make sure you turn in your final project.
So
Cool. Thank you,
can we
thank you.
send it to you and you just check it next week and we ask you about it if it's good or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, log in. I will log in. I'll take a look and give you a couple things and be like, hey, we need a couple dimensions here, or you're missing something here, or whatever it is. So
Okay, I'll send you mine as soon as I finish it. I'll see you
okay.
next week.
Sounds good. Thank you guys.
Have a good
Cheers,
day.
then.